I myself have been at the beach on vacation for a week, and you can't go in the water for a couple days because the bacteria levels were so high in the water, because so many of the cities use sewer systems that use stormwater and sewer combined. With the SWM PAVE stormwater management system, we're separating out this rain event that we capture with SWM PAVE. So we're not having these major rainstorms that are running sewage and stormwater into the rivers and streams and bay areas.
Stormwater management started back in 1979, 1983. The EPA had commissioned a study called the Nationwide Urban Runoff Program. And that was the first time anybody had looked across the country at pollution coming off of urban areas. And so what they found was typical of impervious surfaces. There was a lot of heavy metals, there was a lot of nutrients, different types of pollution that was coming off of these urban areas untreated. The big change going into the millennium was reduced runoff. Detention and retention ponds were reducing peak discharge, but they were actually still discharging all of that stormwater. So now, when you look at the new technologies, we're trying to infiltrate the runoff, and that's what the SWM PAVE system does so well.
The system itself provides aesthetics, but we don't sell the system on aesthetics. We're not selling a product, we're selling a system and a process.
It's a systems-based approach to permeable pavement. So in other words, instead of just worrying about the block, the SWM PAVE team worries about the entire system of treating stormwater. Permeable interlocking concrete pavement like SWM PAVE, you've got the joints in the system. It's a void joint system, and all of the water runs down through the joints instead of running off the parking lot. And then once it gets below the paver blocks, it's in an open graded stone, which we call the reservoir stone, and it gets stored there. The water is trapped and it has to infiltrate into the ground below. So now, not only are we detaining the water in a reservoir, it's underground and it's out of sight, but it's a reservoir under your parking lot, it's also infiltrating. So you're actually treating water in the parking lot.
What's different in this period of time is that the private developer is required to comply 100% with stormwater mandate. So when we have a rain event or a storm, he can't let any of that water come off site. Public development or public city government-owned properties are required to comply at 35%. So what's going to happen as this opportunity starts growing is we're going to start seeing more and more opportunities to use the SWM PAVE system.
Highly urbanized areas are great locations. Number one, because you're removing the asphalt parking lot and putting in a permeable parking lot, which is more environmentally friendly. Number two, land costs. The land cost of putting a pond on 10% of your property when you want to develop 95% of your property as buildings and parking lots and streets and roads and infrastructure, what do? Well, what you do is you put the detention pond under the parking lot. You do permeable pavement, you do your stormwater treatment within the parking lot pavement system, and that's what SWM PAVE does. So you completely eliminate the land costs. And then by doing treatment on site, you also have less runoff downstream. We actually have a SWM PAVE parking lot where they had come in 10 years prior under all this deteriorating asphalt and put a storm drain pipe in, and it still wasn't big enough. So they were like, well, what do we do now? So the permeable pavement system that SWM PAVE developed for that municipal parking lot is about 50% of the watershed running into that storm drain system. So now when it rains, there's pretty much no runoff because the water is being captured and infiltrated in that parking lot. And that's for not only the parking lot, but also the buildings around it. So now there is no downstream drainage problem anymore, and there is no need to rip up the streets and put in new piping systems.
We're having great successes, over 120 projects in the ground. We're sharing those experiences with strategic partners nationwide. We're bringing the younger generation up to be compassionate about cleaning the environment, bringing the water quality up.
We're hoping when we get to this point 20 years from now, these permeable pavements and bioretention facilities are going to prove to really reduce runoff, create stable streams and ecosystems, and improve water quality.